Right, so now we're going to explore the sales process as it is currently. Let's go to sales. And do a new sales order. From here, add a product that's currently in stock. Right. So let's set here 10 of these. Now, within this application, it will not affect anything to do with accounts. When you press confirm, this then reserves the stocks from inventory. It creates an internal transfer from your stocks to the customer, and that is called the delivery. Currently, according to the configurations here, we have configured the inventory warehouse to use a one-step process for your deliveries. One step. Now there's 2-step and 3-step, but now it's currently configured to 1 step. Once the sale order has been confirmed, your guys in inventory will see they have orders to be delivered. Here's the order that we just placed. Okay. And the stocks are available and ready for delivery. My second moves, I can see it's pulling from the stock location or from the shelf it's stored on, and it's going out. Now, by default, once a user validates this outgoing transfer from the warehouse, press validate, it creates a journal for the invoice immediately. Okay. And here's the invoice. It's in a draft state. Cool. Now, normally the person in inventory cannot post the invoice. So it's up to someone in accounting to post the invoice. Well, it all depends on the permission. But just for this example, I am going to post the invoice. Confirm. The PO number. Confirm. So now we have a actual invoice that you can print. And just dispatch along with your delivery note. Now in the system, the delivery note controls your inventory, not the invoice. Okay. Only when it's delivered, it will record an entry that will credit your stock valuation account and debit your inventory interim delivered account. Okay. And then now on the invoice, you will see journal entry saying, let's actually go and look at one of the invoices here that we just did from before. Nice. So for example, this one here, I believe. If you examine, we just sold down these two here. This is a bad example. Let's find the next one. Um, that's a good one. So while on the delivery itself, if I go in delivery for this order and get the valuation, what I will see? I see a journal entry taking place here, right? So when the stocks leave my inventory, it will credit my stock account and debit my stock interim delivered account. This account here is an interim account to hold a value temporarily until you post your invoices. Now, when you post the invoice, the entry will look like this. It will then credit the interim delivered account and then debit the cost of goods sold. And that's when I recognize the, the cost of goods on the invoices. Okay. And essentially it will clear off the stock interim delivered. Now you can press print and then send the invoice off with the customer or with the driver for delivery and sign as you may see fit. Here's the invoice. And if required, we can add a manual signature below here. So that can be signed manually if required. Now, at all times, if within the sales order and inventory, just go back step and look at the last order that we just delivered, right? Now, on the sales order, what it says fully invoice, delivered, quantity ordered, quantity delivered, quantity invoice. Okay. Here's the invoice that's linked to the sales order. And here we have the actual transfer leave from the inventory. Yeah. Whenever you print and you sign off the your invoices, the driver can actually attach back here if he wants to the signed invoice back on his transfer. Yeah. Or if you're going the modernized way or the digital way, you can actually press sign here. Let the customer sign with a finger and you have a sign delivery note to show proof that they received the items. So just to review again, your sales will not affect inventory, or will not affect accounting, sorry. Only when you move items out from inventory to the customer's location, and then credits your stock account and debits the stock interim deliver account. Then upon invoicing, it will credit the stock interim deliver account and debit your cost of goods sold. Okay? And so for example, you want to issue a credit note back onto the invoice, open the invoices, and select your credit note. Right? You give a reason, was turned, and reverse. Right? Then we confirm, we say paid, and the invoice will say reversed. Right? If we go back now onto the sales order, what do we see? It now goes to zero invoice. And we can actually return back the items back into your inventory. Return, and give a reason for the return, we anything, and we press return all or return one, and then we validate. And now if I go back to that same sales order, what do I see? zero delivered. I just return it back into my inventory. Okay, thank you.